From Macky Auditorium in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, it's eTown, with this week's musical guests. From Los Angeles, California, Madison Cunningham, and also from Los Angeles, Rufus Wainwright. I'm Helen Forster. Right now, join me in welcoming our host, Nick Forster.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to eTown Big Stuff. You all look good. Macky Auditorium. We are so excited about our guests this week. We got a really good combination of ingredients for a spectacular eTown feast. Madison Cunningham is a remarkable talent. She is a wonderful singer, powerful and inventive guitar player, a thoughtful songwriter. She's here. But up first, super excited to welcome for the first time live on eTown, an amazing talent, somebody who grew up surrounded by music and songwriting, famous folk music parents, as many of you know, and of course he rebelled and charted his own very successful musical path, a circuitous one that included opera and theater and his own original songs. He's done all kinds of things really successfully. He's made a new record called Folkocracy that features performances with a host of talented and famous guests, but it's really a deeper look at his family history, and he's here on his own this week. He's one of our favorite singers. Please welcome to eTown for his first live visit, Rufus Wainwright.
Thank you so much. Speaking of folkocracy, this song is about my dad, Loudon Wainwright III. No matter how strong, I'm gonna take you down with one little stone. I'm gonna break you down and see what you're worth, what you're really worth to me. Dinner at 8 was okay before the toast's full of gleams. It was great until those old magazines got us started up again. Actually, it was probably me again. But why is it so that I've always been the one who must go, that I've always been the one told to flee, when in fact you were the one long ago. Actually, in the drifting white snow left me. So put up your fists If I wanna see the tears in your eyes, then I know it had to be long ago. Actually, in the drifting white snow, you loved me. No matter how strong, I'm gonna take you down with one little stone. I'm gonna break you down and see what you're worth, what you're really worth to me. Thank you. Thank you so much. This probably, I imagine, won't be on the radio show, but I do have merch available here tonight. I brought two very heavy suitcases that have scraped up the side of my leg and so forth. So you're doing me a favor by buying something. So anyways, but there are these two albums that I only sell at shows. One is called Northern Stars, and it's all me singing great Canadian songs, and the other one is called Road Trip Elegies. So, but we're gonna go now to my latest album, which is nominated for a Grammy. But it's a wonderful record. It's called Folkocracy, and it's an album that I made because eventually I had to fall back into the folk trap that I was born in, and get back to my roots. And the great queen of folk music, actually, in our world is Peggy Seeger, one of the great empresses of folk. So I loved her singing, I've always loved her banjo playing, and I've always adored her songwriting. So we're gonna do one of her songs now called Heading for Home. And yeah, I'm ready. My face to the sky, my back to the wind. Winter is entering my bones. The day has been long and night's drawing in. And I'm thinking of heading for home. Yeah, I'm thinking of heading for home. The cradle and the grave, the fruit and the shade, the seasons mirror my own. The geese flying south are calling to me. And I'm thinking of heading for home. Yeah, I'm thinking of heading for home. Always on the move with banner unfurled, yet gathering moss on the stone. I sing for the children and cry for the world, and I'm thinking of heading this time's my old friend, and that's my new care. I'm not taking this journey alone. I am old, I am young, I am all that I've been, and I'm thinking of heading for home. Yeah, I'm thinking of heading for home. The memory of love will burn in my heart till embers and ashes are gone. The light in your window is my northern star, and I'm thinking of heading for home. Yeah, I'm thinking of heading for home. And it's time I was heading for home. Yeah, it's time I was heading for home.
Rufus Wainwright, welcome to eTown. You're such a good singer. Love hearing you sing.
Thank you.
You're a committed singer, man. No, seriously. There's so many ways to sing a song, but I just find you have a facility for getting inside the song and connecting with it in a way that, it just feels like you're really in it, which is
Yeah,
which is
well,
lovely.
there was a really high bar growing up,
Yeah.
between my dad and my mom and my sister and my aunt. I mean, there's so many great singers in my family. And then to boot, when I was about 13, I became a huge, and still am, opera fan.
Right.
I had this sort of religious conversion to opera. It's still going strong. Then I emulated a lot of
even
those
more, yeah.
singers. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I think in folk music, a lot of the emphasis was on storytelling or around the instrumentation, or I'm going to be a good banjo player, I'm going to remember these 13 verses to a child ballad or something like that.
Yeah.
And the singing was not incidental, but it wasn't critical
Yes.
to having a good career.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never thought of it in those terms before, but you're correct. There was a kind of, I think there was more of a weight put on in folk music that it be true, that the singer be expressing, what they're really going through as a human being, and whether that's good, bad, or ugly, as opposed to the actual art of singing.
The technique, yeah.
So I had to work through that a bit.
It's funny. So you mentioned that Loudon Wainwright III is your dad, and Kate McGarrigle of the McGarrigle sisters, famous Canadian duo, your mom. I started playing at Canadian folk festivals in the 70s when you were probably in attendance with your family.
Yes.
And I remember seeing the McGarrigle sisters and thinking, man, this is a window into a family that is sort of the living embodiment of art and music and food and song and books and literature and some sort of mystical, creative universe.
Yes.
And I didn't understand it. I just was like, that seems like I want in, but I'm probably not cool enough. And you grow up in that, and it's like, is that what it was like?
I think what was amazing about it, and what still is kind of amazing, because Anna, my Aunt Anna's still alive, and my Aunt Jane as well, and Martha, my sister, lives up in Montreal, so there's still that kind of nebulous up there. It was always incredibly real in the sense that they never thought they would be singers at all. There was no concept of being in show business or wanting to be on television. They just kind of were singing, and then someone heard them from Warner Brothers, and they were signed in the 70s, and they kind of just went with it. Yeah. And so I think they maintained a lot of their
just not normalcy, but their kind of sense of wonder, I guess. They were never became super jaded, which is nice.
Well, I think they were also half Irish.
Yes,
and there
and
is
French
that,
Canadian,
and French
too.
Canadian. But
Yeah.
I think in both those communities, singing after dinner and participating and contributing is sort of part of the culture.
I think one of the big things with our family is that my grandmother Gabby, their mother she was one of 17 children, and all right, actually 12 children, 17 births, 12 survived, and she never got a chance to perform, on stage. She had to work, during the Depression and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and she was very talented, and so we became kind of her audience. So we were just trying to impress her,
Yeah.
and she was the big star, even though she didn't make any records or anything.
Well, it's interesting you talked about your conversion to opera when you were 13, and obviously you took a left turn or a right turn, or you rebelled.
Definite turn.
Took a definite turn. And part of that was probably, understanding your sexuality and
Yeah.
your life evolving in front of you as a teenager.
It related actually a lot to the time because I was quite young. I was about 13, and I knew I was gay at that age. And it was 1987 around. So at that point, being gay was basically a death sentence to be a gay man. So I was suddenly, just horrified by the world on a very fundamental level. And also, like, for people my generation, it was when Nirvana started to happen and people started to get more into grunge. And there was this need for a deeper kind of palette, and opera, I gravitated towards opera.
Yeah. In case you just tuned in, you're listening to eTown. I'm here with Rufus Wainwright. And now, coming full circle, you turned 50.
Yes.
And now it's time to sort of reassess and see where you've been and where you're heading. And is that what's going on? You're just
well, there's a lot
looking
going
back
on. There's a lot going on. I mean, in this artistically, especially. I mean, I have, I'm making albums still and all that.
Sure.
But I have my first musical is being produced in London on the West End, and it's called Opening Night, and it's based on the Cassavetes movie Opening Night, and it's directed by Ivo van Hove. He's a very well-known director. And then I also have a Requiem Mass that I composed that's being premiered in Paris.
Wow.
So I'm sort of at the top of the game here.
Wow.
Artistically.
So this is really just a pit stop. This whole folk music thing is just a pit stop on the journey you've been on the whole time.
Just, filling up on some folk.
There's
and
big
then
money
I'm
in
off
folk
to,
music, actually. Yeah, there's a lot
Oz.
of money. Yeah. Well, good luck with the Grammy nomination. Good luck with your Requiem. Good luck with your musical.
Thank you.
Good luck with your frenetic and creative path.
Yes.
That has.
Now I just got to work on my belly. That's
Yeah.
it's actually pretty good.
I think that comes with that creates some gravitas.
There you go. There you go.
So it's okay. Meanwhile, I'm happy you could stop by.
Okay.
Welcome back, if you would, Rufus Wainwright.
Gonna do a great Neil Young song, which is on the Northern Stars album, which is available here, only here.
Did I see you down in a young girl's town with your mother in so much pain? I was almost there at the top of the stairs with her screaming in the rain. Did she wake you up to tell you that it was only a change of plan? Dream up, let me fill your cup with the promise of a man.
Did I see you walking with the boys, though it was not hand in hand? And with some black face in a lonely place when you could could understand. Did she wake you up to tell you that it was only a change of plan? Dream up, let me fill your cup with the promise of a man. Well, I see you give more than I can take. Will I only harvest some? As the days fly past, when we lose our grasp, we'll fuse it in the sun. Did she wake you up to tell you that was only a change of plan? Dream up, let me fill your cup. The promise of a man. Promise of a man. Promise of a man. Promise of a man. The promise of a man. Promise of a man.
Thank you so much. And see you later.
Rufus Wainwright, along with eTown, Eric Tureen, Christian Teal, Adam Bodine, Matt Montgomery on the violin, Helen Forster singing backups. Rufus will be back later on in the show to play some more music.
This portion of eTown is made possible by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination. On the web at bohemianfoundation.org. And if you're curious about eTown's home base, eTown Hall, our beautiful solar-powered music venue, community center, and recording studio located in downtown Boulder, Colorado, you can learn more about it on our website, eTown.org. If you happen to tune in late and you've missed some of this week's program, the eTown podcast will have this episode and others, along with content from past shows as well. It'll be available for free in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast directories. You're listening to eTown.
I am Nick Forster. You're listening to eTown. Rufus Wainwright is going to be back to play some more music in just a bit, but right now I want to tell you about our next guest. So to call Madison Cunningham a triple threat is kind of small. She is an amazing guitarist and songwriter and singer, but she's kind of more than that. She's adventurous, she's creative, she's challenging. And I kind of remember when Joni Mitchell put out the record Blue, and I started thinking, oh, those are amazing songs. I'm going to learn how to play them. They were weird guitar tunings. The dulcimer was in a weird tuning, and the whole thing was just absolutely uniquely hers. It wasn't that it was impenetrable. It wasn't that they were impossible to understand, but they were so distinctly a product of her creative genius. And that's kind of how I feel about Madison's work. She's a really great guitar player, great singer, great songwriter. She is still in her 20s. She's released 3 albums and a bunch of EPs and singles, born and raised in Southern California. She was homeschooled all the way through high school. She then moved to LA and started soaking up everything. Her album, Revealer, won the Grammy for Best Folk Album in 2023. So we've all been really excited about bringing her to the eTown stage. Would you please help me welcome, for her first visit, Madison Cunningham.
In a 15-passenger van to Ohio, the Chrysler invention hums and blows. Warm air through the vent sends it straight to the bone. Outside it's 9 below. It's a pain I've never known. State and the lanterns in little Tokyo. If the fumes don't kill you first, then the dreaming surely will. You tell me on the phone. It's a pain you've never known. I look out the window and let my mind wander from to the open sky. And sometimes I swear I'll just never return, but you're all I've ever known. You're all I've ever known. Will you take me as I am, in perfect obedience to all these demands? I'm a child to the wonder, but a victim of the change. When I see you again, well, I know what to say. I'm not immune to a piece of bad news. I just do what I must to move on. Give me truth, put me under, so I don't feel a thing. It's the only way I know. It's the only way I know. I hear nothing, no rescue coming, just church bells drawing out the doors. I'm afraid that you were made by invention, and odds are I may never know. I may never know. I may never know. Will you take me as I came, in this resistance to the sound of my name? I'm a daughter to the mystery, but a servant to the strain. When I see you again, well, I know what to say. Will I know what to say? You're all I've ever known. You're all I've ever known, all I've ever. I'm afraid of what I don't know. What I don't know. What I don't know.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. This this Californian is really relieved to feel some cold. I even get to wear a jacket indoors. It feels real nice, I have to say.
The same somehow, and I'm standing right where I said I would never be. I can't pin it, I can't pin it down, I can't pin it. But I think we've been here once before, I think we've been here once before. Drawn, was I cutting through the floor I was standing on? This cold-blooded pride in me won't go down quietly, and I'm standing right where I swore I would never be. I can't pin it, I can't pin it down, I can't pin it. But I think we've been here once before, yeah. I think we've been here once before, I think we've been here once before. When I look into your eyes, there's nowhere to hide, nowhere to hold. Are we so willing to compromise every ounce of freedom for some control? Ooh, time and time again, the colors start to blend, and our fury can't remember its own reason. Oh, maybe it's time that I take a good look around at what we have learned to live with and what we can live without. The pain that we hold so dear looks so small and faint from here, when we're standing right where we said we would never be. I can't pin it, I can't pin it down, I can't pin it. But I think we've been here once before, yeah, I'll admit it, I'll admit it now, I'll admit it. But I think we've been here once before, I think we've been here once before. I think we've been here once before, I think we've been here.
I was not wrong. talking about it. Just having my mind blown. Madison Cunningham, welcome to eTown.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. Man, oh man. I guess I Can't Pin It Down. That was the last song you just did.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of aptly titled for how I feel. But it's just lovely to be around, someone who's put so much time and energy into expressing yourself, writing, playing guitar. I'm fascinated by how you play the guitar, by the way. I think I should just ask you about your instrument for a minute, because it sounds like no other guitar that I can sort of think of.
Yeah.
It's a cheap guitar.
Right. It's historically cheap. I mean, you can buy silver tones for like $100, or you could at one point. You know, it's probably they've probably gone up in value, but the guitar.
There are Sears guitars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
Sears. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm admittedly like not a gear buff. Like I don't know much. You definitely would school me, and I love your guitar playing, by the way.
Thank you.
Anyway, this instrument that you just heard me play has a few different components that make it unique. It is a silver tone. It has a rubber bridge, so all of the strings have very minimal sustain, and it's a baritone as well. So it's like very, very, very deep.
A fourth low, so it's a B on the low and the top.
Correct.
Top line,
Yeah. B standard.
And flat wound strings.
And flat wound strings. Yeah. So it's just this really flubbery.
Yeah.
Kind of voice, which I really enjoy it. Like when I first started playing that guitar, it changed the way that I played it. It just causes you to have to think in a different way, a little bit more rhythmically, because you can't really rely on those big, beautiful chords to like cover your ass. I don't know if we can say that. Sorry.
You can say that.
Okay.
Totally, you can say that. Speaking of covering your ass, you also basically play the bass. So you're basically playing the bass lines while you're playing the chords and playing the stuff. Yeah, it's
I love
amazing.
bass. Like if I could go back in time, I would have just learned the bass.
I think you could pull it off. My guess is you would not spend a lot of time getting up to speed playing the bass at this point.
Thanks for your faith. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no
that.
kidding. I know you had a bunch of heroes and people that you looked to, including Rufus Wainwright.
Yes.
He's
yes.
he's one of your true norths.
True North. I try to play it cool, but yes, that is actually. This is not the time for playing it cool. One of my brief stories was growing up. Just sort of the chords I was drawn to. So many people said to me, "Have you heard of Rufus Wainwright?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And I just kept getting that over and over again. And one day I was at the Sundance Film Festival with my friend, and we were driving home to our hotel in a snowstorm, and he turned on Poses, and we ended up driving the wrong way for an hour without realizing it, because we were both just like, what? It was like the music of my heart, and I felt like I just like was confronted with it. And so yeah, we got lost, but for a good cause.
Yeah.
For a really good cause. So yeah, it's a surreal thing, and in so many ways I feel like I became a better singer just by listening to the way that Rufus constructs his melodies and the way that he uses his breath and how controlled he is, and I just started to study that and listen to it. So
Yeah, and you're singing on his new record.
yeah, it's mind-blowing stuff.
Yeah, all kinds of cool things happen.
Yeah.
Well, I know Rufus and you are going to play some music a bit later, but right now we got another tune.
Yes.
So would you please help me welcome back to eTown, Madison Cunningham.
This next song is called Broken Harvest. Round and round this broken rat race, I'm moving and stopping. I'm window shopping for love, for fame, for anything that would take me. And when I'm done taking up space, well, I'm coming home late to a dirty place, half awake, the broom, the rake, take the kid out of me. Just say the word, just say the word, and I'll give it up, the word, and I'll hang it up. What do I know? What do I own that will not fade away? All things
business code for the tear in the jeans, the hole in the board to make the burden flow, to pay in full. This time when you're living on a dreamer's salary, a broken harvest feels like robbery. What do I do this for if it's just gonna pour out easily? You've seen me there, climbing the stairs, begging for air and not coming up. I'm not coming up. What do I know? What do I own that will not fade away? All things fade away. Where will I be? The fruit in the tree, dust and fade away. All things fade away. Fade away, all things fade away, all things fade away.
Madison Cunningham, Los Angeles, California. Her record is called Revealer. She'll be out later on in the show.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver area. As a reminder, for your viewing pleasure, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe in order to stay up to date with our latest offerings. You're listening to eTown.
Quick story, 1973, my older sister told me about a guru who was having an event at the Houston Astrodome. He was 14 years old, from India. I was in New York, and my sister said, "You got to check this guy out." I thought, I'm not really doing anything else. And so, sure, I went, I'm going to go down to Houston, and got a cheap plane ticket, And on the plane, I saw a guy who had a banjo and a guitar. Put him in the overhead bins. Turned out I sat next to him, and we chatted. He was going down to play a gig, and I told him I was going to go see this guy, and I didn't know what I was doing really, and it ended up being Loudon Wainwright III that I sat next to. And he, unbeknownst to me, followed my advice and went to check out this 14-year-old guru and wrote a song, quite sarcastic song, about the spiritual journey that everyone from around the world was doing, checking out this 14-year-old kid. The Guru song by Loudon Wainwright. You can check it out. I'm responsible for that song, personally. I made it happen. But many of you know that Loudon has been a guest on eTown many times, as has Martha, Rufus's sister. But I meant it when I said at the top of the show that this is a really special combination of ingredients: heartfelt, adventurous, musical spirits, great singers. We're very happy to welcome back to the stage right now Rufus Wainwright.
Thank you so much. This next song is a folk song as well, which is written by the incredible Ewan MacColl, who was a great Scottish songwriter, and he was actually married to Peggy Seeger. And he wrote the most famous song he wrote is, well, he wrote a few famous ones, but probably the most well known, especially in America, is a song called "The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face," which was made famous by Roberta Flack. But he wrote that song about Peggy Seeger. So it's nice. In the show Folkocracy, we begin with usually her song and then sing his, and it's just whatever. Love, gotta love love. Gotta love love. But this song is called "Alone." So there's no love there. Here we go. And Madison sings with me on the album. So yes, here we go.
The world that I knew, it has vanished and gone, leaving this forest of stone, and the faces are strange and altered. Everything is changed here where I walk alone. Unseen and unheard, I can walk through the world, hearing no voice but my own, and there is no one to hear the voice of my hope and my fear. Here where I walk alone. Companions I walked with and talked with are gone. friends into strangers have grown, and my body has gone, deserted me, and left this other one here where I walk alone.
Rufus Wainwright, along with Madison Cunningham. Special thanks to these guys and to our house band. We're going to do one more song. We want to thank everybody for being on the show. So glad we could bring these two together. Rufus Wainwright, Madison Cunningham. Special thanks to our house band, the hardworking eTones, who did a great job this show. Thanks to Helen Forrester. Thanks to our crew. This song is about making sure that despite all the chaos and challenges outside, you find your center, hang on to it. I'm Nick Forster. Hope you can be with us next week right here in eTown.
Words are flowing out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither wildly as they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind.
have more music from Rufus Wainwright and Madison Cunningham to share with you. And we just didn't want to cut it out of this show, so we're going to come back next week with more. So look out for part 2 with more songs from Rufus and Madison next week right here in eTown.
Nothing's gonna change my world.
Thank you all. Thanks for singing. Thanks for being here.
This is a production of eTown.